We stand today at the precipice of a great silence, a hollowing out of the modern masculine soul. Everywhere we look, we see men adrift, not from ambition, not from passion, but from the courage to plant a flag in the soil of their own lives and declare, "This I will build, this I will cherish, this is mine to protect." The question that haunts the bedrooms and coffee shops of our age is not one of mere preference, but a profound psychological flight from the sacred responsibility of commitment. It is a retreat into the boy's shadow, away from the demands of the king archetype, and we must dare to ask, not with accusation, but with a depth of understanding that reaches into the very archetypes of the collective unconscious, what terrible fear has unmoored the modern man from his deepest, most primal instinct to bind his life to another. Boy who has never been told he is a man remains in the deepest chambers of his psyche a boy. We have, in our modern age, systematically dismantled the rituals, the trials, the sacred fires through which a boy is shown his own strength, his own capacity for suffering, and his own responsibility to a tribe. In the absence of the elder, the initiatory wound, the symbolic death and rebirth, he is left to wander in a perpetual adolescence. His commitments become as fleeting as his enthusiasms. For to commit is to finally close the door on the boy's world of possibility and step into the defined and therefore limited role of the man. This is not a conscious cowardice, it is an archetypal starvation. The man who does not know who he is cannot possibly offer himself to another. He has no self to give. He possesses only a collection of masks, each suited for a different audience, a different conquest, but none strong enough to bear the weight of a lifetime promise. He avoids the profound because he has never been guided to the well of his own depth. He confuses freedom with a lack of attachment, never understanding that true freedom is found in the conscious, chosen binding of oneself to a person, a purpose, a place. The uninitiated man is haunted by a ghost, the ghost of the man he might have become, had he been tested, had he been held accountable, had he been pulled across the threshold by the strong hands of his fathers. And so he remains in the antechamber of life, mistaking the doorway for the destination, forever preparing for a journey he is too unfocused to begin. He fears commitment because it represents the one trial his culture has failed to provide, the ultimate test of his character. To say yes forever is to finally answer the question the world never bothered to ask him, "Are you a man?" His reluctance is a silent scream for the initiation he never received. He is waiting for a challenge worthy of his hidden strength, and until he finds it, or until it finds him, he will play at life rather than live it, a king in exile from a throne he has never seen. The first secret, then, is not to nag the boy, but to call forth the man. It is to create the conditions for his own self-initiation, to present a vision of relationship not as a pleasant pasture, but as a sacred ground where his mettle will be tested, his strength will be needed, and his presence is absolutely required. It is to offer not a chain, but a sword and a cause worth fighting for. The journey begins when he stops asking, "What can I get?" and starts feeling the primal urge to answer, "What can I build?" This is the first step out of the boy's shadow dot. Deep within every man resides an archetype, an inner feminine image that Carl Jung termed the anima. This is not the real, breathing woman who stands before him, but a divine phantom, a composite of all that is mysterious, alluring, and soulful in the universe. In his youth and in his unconsciousness, he projects this shimmering image onto the women he meets, seeking the goddess in the mortal. This is the phantom of the ideal, and it is the source of immense romantic enchantment, and ultimately profound disillusionment. The real woman, with her human flaws, her individual quirks, her bad days, and her own sovereign spirit, can never perfectly match the eternal, flawless archetype. When the projection breaks, as it inevitably must, he often mistakes the fading of the magical glow for a failure of the relationship itself. He believes he has chosen wrong, that the true anima must be out there, waiting on another. This is the psychological trap that keeps him cycling forever, seeking the perfect vessel for his projection, never realizing he is chasing a ghost. The commitment-phobic man in this trap is not afraid of the woman, he is afraid of the death of his dream. He is in love with love itself, with the intoxicating fantasy of perfect union, and he flees the beautiful, messy, and real work of building a relationship with an actual human being. To make him eager to commit, one must gently, and without accusation, help him withdraw this projection. This does not mean becoming less magical, it means becoming more real, more substantial. It is in your grounded wholeness, your authentic self with your own passions, your own boundaries, your own luminous and imperfect humanity, that you become more fascinating than any phantom. When he sees a woman who is not a blank screen for his fantasy, but a solid, complex, and captivating individual in her own right, the projection begins to retract. He is no longer looking through you to see his anima, he is looking at you, and in that clear-eyed seeing, a real, durable attraction is born. The phantom promises everything and demands nothing. A real woman promises a profound journey and demands everything. The boy runs from this demand. The man recognizes it as the very stuff of life, the alchemical fire that will forge his soul. He begins to understand that the true magic is not in finding the ideal, but in co-creating a unique and imperfect love story that could not exist with anyone else. The secret is to be so fully yourself that you shatter the ideal and become the irreplaceable reality. The modern world presents a cruel paradox, the illusion of infinite choice. With 1,000 faces a swipe away, the digital marketplace of potential partners creates a psychological state of permanent ambivalence. This is the tyranny of the grass is greener syndrome, a paralysis of the will that stems from the fear of making a suboptimal choice. The man submerged in this paradigm approaches relationships not as a builder, but as a consumer. He is perpetually in a state of evaluation, comparing the real known qualities of his partner against the hypothetical perfect qualities of the next unknown. This is a recipe for profound disconnection and existential emptiness. Commitment, in this context, feels less like a sacred vow and more like a closing of doors, a willful ignorance of better options. His psyche becomes a crowded marketplace where no single purchase can ever feel satisfying, for the mere act of choosing one thing means rejecting the potential of all others. This is not freedom, it is a form of psychological torture. The boy is seduced by this infinity, the man recognizes it as a prison. The secret to breaking this tyranny is not to limit his options, but to reframe the very meaning of choice. It is to move from a consumer mindset to a creator mindset. A consumer seeks to find the perfect product. A creator chooses raw materials and commits to building something of unique and lasting value. When a man begins to see a relationship as a collaborative creation, a work of art, a shared world with its own customs, jokes, and depth, the calculus changes entirely. The question shifts from, is she the best possible partner, to what magnificent thing can we build together with the unique ingredients we both possess? The grass is greener fantasy is exposed as the hollow illusion it is, for the truly green grass is not found, but grown watered with time, nurtured with attention, and fortified with shared struggle. You make him eager to commit by inviting him into this creative process. Show him the vision of what you can build, a vision so compelling that the noise of the marketplace fades into irrelevance. Make the shared world you are constructing more vivid, more challenging, and more rewarding than any passive fantasy. He will commit when he realizes that the greatest adventure is not in keeping his options open, but in diving headfirst into the profound and messy work of making something truly, uniquely his. The call is to close the browser and pick up the tools. A man will only build his fortress where he feels his treasures are safe, and the greatest treasure a mature man possesses is not his success, nor his strength, but his vulnerability. From a tender age he is taught to armor himself, to conceal his fears, his doubts, his sorrows, and his deep-seated needs. To show this soft underbelly is to risk ridicule, rejection, and the ultimate humiliation of being seen as weak. Consequently, he learns to navigate the world from behind a shield. But this armor, while protecting him, also imprisons him. It prevents the very connection his soul craves. Commitment, true commitment, requires the voluntary lowering of this shield. It is an immense act of trust. He will only do this in a space that feels like a sanctuary, a relationship that has proven through consistent and gentle receptivity that his vulnerability will not be used as a weapon against him. This sanctuary is not built on grand gestures, but on 1,000 small moments of safety. It is in the way you listen without immediately trying to fix him. It is in the way you hold his failure without contempt. It is in the way you receive his fear without panic and his sadness without pity. When he tentatively offers a piece of his hidden self, a shame, a dream, a wound, and you meet it not with judgment, but with understanding and unwavering respect, you are laying another stone in the foundation of this sanctuary. This is what makes a man eager to commit. He is not committing to a person who demands his strength alone. He is committing to the one person with whom he can finally, safely be weak. He is committing to the home where he can take off the armor and simply be. This sanctuary of shared vulnerability is the bedrock of intimacy. It is far more intoxicating than any fantasy of perfection, for it offers the one thing he truly lacks in his public life, unconditional acceptance of his whole self. The secret is to become a sanctuary, not a siege. Become the calm port in his storm, and he will never again wish to be lost at sea. He will tie his boat to your dock with a profound sense of homecoming, for he has found the one place on earth where he is truly known. For the masculine soul, a life of comfort is a slow death. The boy seeks pleasure and the avoidance of pain. The man is wired for meaning, which is always found on the other side of struggle. He thrives on a mission, a purpose that calls forth his courage and demands his resources. Too often, relationships are framed as an end to the journey, a comfortable harbor where he can finally dock his ship and retire. This framing is death to his spirit. He feels it as a cage, a domestication of his primal fire. To make him eager to commit, you must reframe the relationship not as the destination, but as the vessel for a new, shared hero's journey. You are not the prize to be won and then placed on a shelf. You are the fellow warrior, the trusted companion with whom he will face the dragons of the world. What is your shared mission? Is it building a business, raising extraordinary children, creating a community, championing a cause, exploring the world, The mission itself is less important than the shared sense of purpose. A man who sees his relationship as a dynamic, unfolding adventure, a story he is co-authoring with a powerful ally, will be drawn to it with every fiber of his being. He is no longer settling down, he is gearing up. The challenges you face together are not threats to the relationship, they are the trials that forge an unbreakable bond. The conflicts are not signs of failure, but opportunities to hone your strategy and deepen your trust. In this framework, his commitment is not a limitation on his freedom, but an amplification of his power. With you by his side, he is stronger, more resilient, and more capable of taking on the great challenges of his life. The secret is to stop asking, where is this relationship going? And start asking, what great things shall we build together? Present the future not as a static picture of domestic bliss, but as an epic map with unknown territories to explore and dragons to slay. Call him to that adventure and watch the boyish hesitation transform into a man's determined yes. He commits to the mission, and in doing so, he commits eternally to his fellow mission holder. A man is drawn to the ocean not for its calm surface, but for its powerful, untamable depths. Similarly, a profound commitment is elicited not by a woman's neediness, but by her wholeness. The archetype of the needy woman, the one who seeks a man to complete her, to rescue her, to be the source of her happiness, is ultimately a trap for the masculine spirit. She demands that he pour his energy into her bottomless cup, draining him and creating a relationship of dependency, not partnership. The boy, seeking to prove his worth through being needed, may fall for this. The man, in time, will feel suffocated and seek escape. What commands a man's enduring devotion is the container of authentic feminine power. This is the woman who is already complete. She has her own passions, her own friends, her own inner life, her own mission. She does not need him, she chooses him. This is an immensely powerful distinction. Her wholeness creates a magnetic field of its own. She is a sovereign queen of her own domain, and she invites him in as a king to his, not as a servant to her emptiness. This dynamic is not one of cold independence, but of powerful interdependence. Two whole beings, choosing to merge their kingdoms to create an empire. A woman in her power sets boundaries naturally. She speaks her truth without apology. She radiates a life force that is generative and inspiring. In her presence, a man feels called to rise to his own highest self. He is not being drained, he is being charged. He is not being controlled, he is being challenged. This is the woman for whom a man will eagerly commit, because being with her makes him a better, stronger, more alive version of himself. The relationship becomes a crucible for mutual evolution, not a sick room for mutual need. The secret is to relentlessly cultivate your own sovereignty. Fall in love with your own life. Pursue your purpose with ferocity. Let your happiness be an inside job. In doing so, you become not a problem he has to solve, but a prize he is honored to win. You become the worthy opponent and the ultimate ally. He will commit to you not out of obligation, but out of a deep, respectful recognition that you are the only one capable of meeting him at that altitude. The final and most crucial secret is one that appears as a paradox. A man must first be complete in his aloneness to healthily choose togetherness. This is the alchemy of sovereignty. The man who seeks a relationship to fill a void, to rescue him from loneliness, or to provide him with an identity, is building on sand. His commitment will be fragile, contingent on his partner constantly filling that inner emptiness. This is the neediness that smothers. The man who has done his own work, who has faced his shadows, forged his own purpose, and learned to be a good companion to himself, approaches relationship from a place of abundance, not lack. He is not looking for completion, he is looking for collaboration. This sovereignty is the bedrock of all healthy commitment. It means he knows who he is and what he stands for, with or without a partner. This self-possession is not arrogance, it is a quiet, unshakable confidence. It is what allows him to engage in a relationship without losing himself, to love deeply without becoming enmeshed, and to hold space for his partner's sovereignty as well. When two sovereign individuals come together, the resulting bond is not a chain that binds, but a force that multiplies. They are two pillars holding up the same temple, each one strong enough to stand alone, but choosing to stand together to create something more magnificent. This is what makes a man not just willing, but eager to commit. He is not giving up his freedom, he is inviting another free individual to share in the bounty of his life. The work, therefore, is an inside job. For him, it is the journey of self-discovery and self-mastery. For you, it is the same. You cannot do his work for him, but you can embody this principle so utterly that you become a living invitation to that level of wholeness. The call to commitment, then, is a call to become the king of your own inner world first. From that throne, the choice to share your kingdom becomes the most natural and powerful decision you will ever make. So let us leave this place not with a list of tricks, but with a profound remembrance. The journey to commitment is nothing less than the journey to wholeness itself. It is a hero's path that demands you slay the dragon of your own fear, reclaim the projections of your own soul, and build a sanctuary of unwavering trust. This is your call to adventure. Do not wait for the world to initiate you. Initiate yourself. Step into the sovereignty of your own power. Embrace the vulnerability that is your true strength. Seek a partner not to complete you, but to challenge you, to companion you, to build a legacy with you. The time for hesitation is over. The world does not need more boys playing at life. It needs men and women, kings and queens, who are brave enough to plant their flags, to make their vows, and to build something that will outlast them. Go forth, be bold. Commit with your whole heart, not because it is safe, but because it is the only thing that makes life worth living. You are unstoppable when you know what you stand for and who you stand with. Thank you. And may your journey be profound.